Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Who will win in a boxing match? Oh well, it's coming. YouTube superstar Jake Paul will be taking on retired MMA veteran Ben Askren in a boxing match. Triller Fight Club will be hosting this night of boxing and entertainment on the 17th of April 2021, with the main event being the boxing match between Askren and Paul. If you clicked on this video, it's probably because you're curious about the odds or just curious generally. Whatever the case, in this video we are going to be showing you who we think is more likely to win in this boxing match. If you're ready, then let's get straight into it. Jake Paul started his amateur boxing career in 2018 when his brother Logan headlined a match against KSI. This came on the heels of KSI's win against Weller. It was at this event that Jake also fought and won against KSI's younger brother, Deji Olatunji. The event was a massive one in the Manchester Arena in England, with more than 1 million viewers paying about $10 to watch the match live. After this stunt, Jake decided to go into boxing professionally, debuting with a fight against Gibb in Miami, after which he declared that he would be coming for KSI next. But although Jake beat Gibb, the next person he took on was Nate Robinson, not KSI, and the promised match with KSI has yet to come to fruition. Ben Askren, on the other hand, is a retired MMA professional and amateur wrestler. He's been fighting since high school and also has a younger brother, Max, who is into wrestling as well. Askren has also served as an assistant wrestling coach at Arizona State University. Now, while these certainly look good for Ben Askren, you've got to remember that wrestling is very different from boxing. And there are those who are very confident that Jake Paul will be mopping the floor with Ben Askren in a few weeks from now. One thing that almost everyone agrees on is that Ben Askren is just not that great at striking or punching. Plus, Askren isn't exactly a boxer. He's a pro MMA fighter that has wrestled at elite levels, true, but is still not a boxer all the same. Nevertheless, those who believe that these are enough reasons to give Jake Paul an edge over Ben Askren are in the minority, and we have to disagree with them. As much as Ben Askren isn't a pro boxer, Jake Paul isn't either, and he doesn't even have the impressive records that Ben Askren brings to the table. Now, we've got to give it to Jake, he does throw a far better punch than Ben Askren. Still, Ben Askren has held his own in fights with excellent strikers. Strikers that are far better and far more experienced than Jake Paul. It's sad that many people who know Ben Askren only know him from the time he got knocked out in 5 seconds by Masvidal. And those making their judgments and predictions based on this are obviously casual fans of combat sports. Because a very important point they are missing or choosing to ignore is that Ben Askren was knocked out by a flying knee, not by a punch. This is very important. Like we said, Ben Askren has held his own with some of the best strikers, like Robbie Lawler, for example. He has also taken several punches to the head without getting knocked out. Not to mention that he is an Olympian gold medalist who used to fight at the UFC level before he retired. Now, would all these qualities help him in a boxing fight? Well, we will only know when we get to the ring. But they definitely tell us something. Askren has the mind of a fighter and athlete. He is a conditioned pro fighter too. So he can definitely learn and train enough in boxing to take on Jake Paul with ease. Not sure we can say the same of Jake Paul. Still, right now, Jake Paul is the favorite to win. And you could probably attribute this to the fact that Paul has an appreciable size advantage over Ben Askren. Plus, Paul has some level of training and experience in boxing working in his favor, which isn't something Askren can't learn anyway, as we've established. Askren, on the other hand, after this fight with Jake Paul, would have fought in his very first professional boxing match. But Askren wouldn't be the only one recording his own first. Jake Paul will too, as this will be his first time ever fighting with a pro fighter. And Askren isn't exactly a small fish. He has an impressive MMA record with 19 wins and only 2 defeats. Paul, on the other hand, has 2 KO wins under his belt, which you could say is quite impressive for the young YouTuber. Still, it pales in comparison to Askren's track record. So even though the odds might currently be in Paul's favor, nobody can naively ignore the fact that this is going to be the most difficult fight yet in his, so far, short career. In fact, in reality, there's hardly any chance whatsoever that Jake Paul is taking this one home. Here are a few reasons. First off, as we've mentioned, Ben Askren is tested and proven. Jake Paul might have knocked out a professional athlete, but Ben Askren is more than just an ex-pro athlete. He is a former champion and a professional fighter. In fact, the so-called KOs Jake Paul has under his belt were from matches with people who couldn't even hold a candle to Ben Askren when it comes to combat sports. So saying that Jake Paul has titles to his name does not exactly mean much when Askren enters the picture. Secondly, Ben Askren has everything to lose. His legacy and his public image most especially. And when you have everything to lose, you fight like you do, and oftentimes, you win. Considering Askren's current infamy for being the guy that was knocked out by Masvidal in 5 seconds, the pro fighter would definitely see himself as needing this win.
A guy who choked in the UFC, and now a guy who's gonna choke against Jake Paul. I'm gonna end this guy's career as an embarrassment. Masvidal did it once, I'm about to do it again.
This way, he then gets to become the guy who finally shut Jake Paul up forever, which is much better than being that guy that was kneed into extinction by Jorge Masvidal. Again, Askren has enlisted the help of Hall of Fame boxing coach FREDDIE ROACH to prepare him for this match. This means that Askren is taking this very seriously. Add this to his already impressive track record and experience as an excellent fighter, and it's almost impossible to imagine any future where Jake Paul beats Askren. Based on all of these reasons, therefore, we are convinced that despite what the majority of the populace says, Ben Askren is bringing this one home. We're not saying that Askren is going to be a pro boxer. In fact, Askren himself has said that it's not in the plan for him. He just wants to beat up Jake Paul, a feat he does not deem to be a difficult one.
Again, I'm not challenging a pro boxer. I have no illusions that I'm going to go beat any of them up, but I could beat Jake Paul up.
All this being said, Ben Askren needs to do his homework well, because what is expected to clean up his reputation is more than beating Jake Paul up. He has to beat him convincingly. We hope that, true to his words, that isn't hard to do. So that's our take, guys. What do you think? Who do you think would win? Do let us know in the comments section below. Also, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you get to check out all the awesome videos we have for you. Thanks for watching.